Good morning, Bitcoiners. We're going to take a look through our indicators to see just how bearish Bitcoin is. We'll check out some important data between Bitcoin dominance and our bull market watch spreadsheet that is showing us new alerts are setting up in the altcoins. And I'm going to talk about a conspiracy theory for Bitcoin and what might replace Bitcoin next. Get comfy in your chair because the next 10 minutes is packed with valuable information that you need if you are a Bitcoin trader. Starting off with the Ichimoku cloud over here, we can see a tiny little 123 building into a larger 123. I like that we've broke this trend line and that the blue line is crossed above the red line. Those are the very beginning stages. We can see here in the Bollinger Bands that we've broke the downtrend line and that the bands are getting very narrow here on the 4-hour time frame. When we look over at the MACD indicator, we can see that we have a cross to the positive here, similar to what we had back in November, and maybe we're going to go some sideways here before rebuilding, but this is the first stages of the bottom. And while we can see this bottom formation in Bitcoin here, we can also see that Bitcoin dominance has slid down. It has pulled back and it's making a formation here that really fits in well to this parallel channel and sort of indicates to me that we're likely going to be heading back in this direction again. And we've got a couple targets for the long-term future that match up to where Bitcoin dominance has been in the past. We'll see how this plays out, but I really love this situation here, especially when we start zooming into the bull market watch, which takes that Bitcoin dominance data and pulls it apart so that we can see every different individual coin on Binance and Poloniex. One thing I'm super stoked about are these two charts right here, the bull-bear ratio. We can see here in November and January, when we had a bit of a bull market, the bear came back when the bull went away. We could see the red lines came up, that's the bearishness, as the bullish went away, the green line going down. However, now we can see we had a big run up of the green line, the bullishness, and as we've pulled back with the bullishness, the bearishness hasn't picked up. Everything has stayed in a neutral stance in between bullish and bearish. Now we're setting up to go back into the bullish stance again, and we can see from yesterday we have 15 new alerts in Binance. I believe this is going to be happening quickly and that we're going to go back into that bull stance fast with these cryptocurrencies. You can grab that information over on our website, put in your email address to learn this crypto trading system. You don't have to follow along with us. You can take this workshop and get the core strategy that I teach on all of these episodes. Now, let's jump into Bitcoin and see what's going on here. On the weekly relative strength index, I've been watching for this to pull back for such a long time, and we're actually getting there now. Let's zoom into the daily time frame and see what's going on, because I really want this to be catching itself now in a positive angle. So now that we are slowing down, that's good, but we need this to catch itself up and change the angle on this in the daily time frames. And we should see it first in the 12-hour that it's flattening, and then it should start to bounce up. The 12-hour could go more oversold from here, so this isn't a guarantee that we've hit a bottom, but I am paying attention to it closely. Let's zoom into the 4-hour time frame and see how this is playing out, because now we're getting a bit of a divergence, and this is the kind of thing that we need if we're going to be bouncing. This will be the first thing that we see, is this kind of divergence as prices go flat. Love to see it here on the 4-hour time frames. Should see it better on the 1-hour time frame. Very, very nice. Awesome to see. Let's jump into the on-balance volume. If we're looking over the longest term view, we are seeing a change in the volume pattern of Bitcoin buying going on here. If I zoom into the daily time frame, one thing I'm really watching for is this to be a much bigger volume. If we are going to be starting to pump up and go way higher, this is not going to do it. We absolutely need the volume before this is going to happen. And some of my conspiracy theories say that when we come to the halving, the miners are not going to make enough money. We're going to cut down their earnings by half every single day or every block. And the network transaction fees are too low to support the income of the miners. And this could be catastrophic for Bitcoin. And it could push us down to the $2,000 level and clean out an entire industry of all of this electricity usage. This could be the moment that another cryptocurrency takes over. Like MySpace faded away and Facebook took over, it could be that Bitcoin could fade away. It may not be the major technology in the long run. I don't know, but when we have a top formation, we got to pay attention and go short or not be holding. So anyway, let's zoom in on this now and take a look at the nature of this dumping, because if we are going into a phase like that, there's going to be a lot more dumping. All of the miners who have been holding in hopes of higher prices will have to dump and liquidate. And it'll cause deep price dumps, deep expand that we haven't seen. And not to breed fear and panic, because I do believe lots is going to be going on, but the trading system says to get in on the 12-hour EMA cross and get out on the 12-hour EMA cross. So now our trading system in general says to be watching for an entry place, or we should be short out of this top formation. And so now let's zoom in on this dumping to see how this is turning out as we're going along. So we have less and less selling, but it hasn't turned into positive buying here yet. Not even on the 4-hour time frame. The 1-hour time frame hasn't done it yet. So I'm really wanting it to be bullish. I'm looking for the 1, 2, 3s, but this isn't giving it to me yet. I can see that there is less and less selling on this second dump here, but we haven't turned to positive buying yet. And we won't until we get back up above these levels and build this structure. Let's start off with the weekly MACD indicator. So the histograms are easing off here. Let's zoom into the daily time frame. It has crossed to the negative, and this isn't a worry. We can expect that the daily is going to cross to the negative and up and negative and up. It's going to oscillate on the way of our uptrend. The trouble with this now is that it's come past the midline. This never went past the midline when we were on an uptrend. So that we've come past this midline is pretty worrisome, actually. And I hadn't considered it before, but the last time we crossed this midline is this very similar pattern that we were watching earlier. Prices came up, they made that top formation, just like we did here. They made that top formation. The MACD indicator really gave us a very similar pattern here as we broke this top and pulled down. And so we could have some extended down to go yet from this. We do have a parallel channel that we'll be watching. And as this parallel channel manifests at the bottom, we'll look for buys. And as it comes up here, we'll look for sell signals until this MACD on the daily comes down and crosses positive. Once that crosses positive, it'll be a little bit late, but let's watch for that 1, 2, 3 formation and this daily to catch itself. So let's zoom in now on the 12-hour to see if this is catching itself. This is when we're watching for it to find a bottom and to cross over. And to see that, we're going to be watching for these histograms to be shortened up, shorten over the next 3 12-hour bars. So the next day and a half, we'll really be watching for that manifestation of the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation here and those 12-hour bars crossing, pulling our daily bars to cross. We have the 4 hours crossed, just as we did before over here. So there's a lot of different conflicting evidence right now. In the long term, it says we're down a little bit more. And so I am going to pay attention to this parallel channel as that we could be going down a bit more from that as this comes up. So let's watch this unfold. Very good stuff. I'm going to zoom in now to the Ichimoku cloud, and we bounced off the top of this kind of hard. Let's zoom in on the time frames now. The daily time frame, we did cross here. That is bearish. So long as we stay above the cloud, we could be in the uptrend. So long when that blue line crosses back above the red line, then we know we're good. But it has to cross above. Other than that, we're heading towards bear now in this. Let's zoom in. The 12-hour time frame has gone bear right out of this top formation, right there. When that crossed over and we're making this sell right there, there's a beautiful sell signal because it's retesting underneath the 1, 2, 3 top formation, and the blue is crossing over the red. So we saw this manifest as it was playing out and still was expecting it to be bouncing off this cloud. Now let's zoom in to see if we are catching a bottom here. The 4-hour time frame doesn't give us that. The 1-hour time frame says maybe because the blue line is crossed over the red line here, but we haven't gone up through the cloud yet. We haven't not twisted to the positive, and our trailing indicator has not yet cut through everything. So we've got a few different indicators. The Ichimoku is going to make us wait for it and be above these 1, 2, 3 patterns, the larger 1, 2, 3 pattern here. Once we're above those things, then this will verify on the 1-hour time frame. So really not getting the big blast off yet. Here it is in the 15-minute time frame. It is beautiful. 1, 2, 3 formation. Now a larger 1, 2, 3 formation. So when they manifest like this and they're nesting this way, this gives more power to them for me. Let's go into the Bollinger Bands now. Weekly view, we went from bottom right to the top and back to the midline. So long as we stay above this midline, now we are in the bull trend. Let's go into the daily. We've pulled back. We went into a mean reversion area, bouncing off this 200 period exponential moving average. Very good for bulls. The 12-hour, however, is poked just underneath that EMA. It is in a mean reversion area and holding there. And since it's making a 1, 2, 3 on the smaller time frames, I'm going to zoom into the 4 hours, see that it's touched twice on these mean reversion areas, and it's coming up to the center line while we make this 1, 2, 3 in a narrowing band. So should we break above this 1, 2, 3, I think this is going to have some juice. It may only come up to the top of this downtrend for now. We'll see how this plays out. Let's zoom in a little bit more because this 1, 2, 3 will play out, break above the midline and start to trend on these shorter time frames. And it hasn't yet. And so in a quick summary, I am kind of expecting a 1, 2, 3 bounce out of here, but we are in a larger downtrending channel now. We'll probably come up to the 93, 92 level. And if we make a top formation there underneath this resistance, it will indicate that we're probably going to be going down to test at least the 77, 76 range, something like we did back in May of 2018. And so I'm still watching for us to complete a downward channel like this, like we've seen in the past. I expect it'll come up and test the top of this downward channel first before it's continuing. And this is the test zone now. And we'll really watch to see what's going on with the MACD indicator as it comes down and starts to cross to the positive. This is one of our biggest indicators right there. If you haven't already, head over to the website and get this free practical trading plan. It'll teach you the 1, 2, 3 pattern. It'll show you the 5 stages of a trade, the most important things that I teach in the main course. And I want to teach you this stuff so that you have this success. If you don't have the money to buy a course, you should have the information on how to make money work for you. We should be taught this in grade school. We should be practicing this in high school. And if you haven't got the habits of it yet, come over and join the Bull Market Watch. Click on the details up along the top. You can see which or how many coins we have in each different status as this changes from day to day, pulled live from our spreadsheet. Or scroll down and learn more about how this Bull Market Watch can help you give an overall picture of all of the altcoins and start to make your trading into a systematic, easy method that works for you rather than you sitting at the charts all day long. Thanks again for tuning in. Good luck in all of your Bitcoin trading. We'll see you over on our Discord chat. That's it for this episode. Bye for now.